You live most of your life within invisible walls you have built around yourself. These walls are not made of stone, but of habits, fears and comfort. Every day you cling to familiarity, thinking it is safe, but safety is not life, it is stagnation. To truly live, you must step beyond these invisible boundaries and embrace the unknown, for growth never comes to those who remain comfortable. Comfort is not just a place, it is a prison you build around your own mind. When you cling to what feels safe, you shrink the boundaries of your life without even realizing it. Every habit you repeat, every excuse you accept, strengthens the walls that hold you back. True growth is not found in safety, it is born in the fire of challenge and the risk of the unknown. The longer you stay comfortable, the further you drift from your own potential and the harder it becomes to break free. Fear often wears the mask of caution, whispering that staying put is wisdom, yet it is not wisdom that binds you, it is fear. Fear convinces you that the known is better than the unknown, that familiarity is more valuable than experience. The moment you question this lie, you begin to see the vastness of life waiting beyond your self-imposed boundaries. Recognizing fear for what it truly is allows you to step forward, even when your mind resists. Discomfort is not your enemy, it is the doorway to transformation. Every situation that shakes you, every moment that feels uneasy is an opportunity for growth. The world beyond your comfort zone is alive, raw, and full of lessons that cannot be learned in safety. Each time you embrace unease, instead of running from it, you expand the limits of what you thought possible. Life rewards those who walk through discomfort with courage and presence. Fear often disguises itself as caution, whispering in your mind that staying where you are is wise and safe. It convinces you that the familiar is better than the unknown and that hesitation is prudence rather than limitation. Each time you listen to this inner voice without questioning it, you allow fear to tighten its grip, shaping your choices and shrinking the world you inhabit. What feels like caution is often just a cage built from your own doubts and insecurities. Your mind seeks comfort and predicts danger, but it does not distinguish between real threats and imagined ones. It labels any step beyond the known as risky and urges retreat. The more you obey this instinct without awareness, the more you surrender control of your life to fear, recognizing that this is not wisdom but self-imposed restriction is the first step in reclaiming your freedom. Fear grows stronger in silence and repetition. When you allow your thoughts to dwell on what ifs and maybe nots, it becomes a steady, quiet force that discourages action. It teaches you to rationalize staying put and to invent reasons why leaving the familiar is reckless. The moment you observe these patterns, instead of believing them blindly, you begin to dismantle the invisible barriers built by your own mind. The mind loves routine, and routine is the silent architect of limitation. When your days are dictated by habit, your thinking becomes narrow and your vision becomes small. Breaking routine requires conscious effort, small acts of defiance against what is familiar. Take risks, speak truths, explore unknown paths, and refuse the excuses that try to chain you. These small, deliberate steps will dismantle the walls of comfort one brick at a time, and life will open in ways you never imagined. Discomfort is not a punishment, it is a signal that you are touching the edges of your current self. Every moment that feels uneasy, every situation that tests your patience or courage is a mirror showing where your limitations lie. The mind wants comfort and will resist this friction, calling it danger or inconvenience, but this resistance is proof that you are stepping into growth. If you avoid it, you remain small. If you face it, you expand. The doorway of discomfort often appears in simple forms: a difficult conversation, an unfamiliar task, or a path that challenges your skill. These moments push you out of automatic living and force awareness. When you lean into the unease rather than escape it, you learn more about your true capacity than any moment of ease could teach. Growth lives in the tension, not in the calm. Discomfort sharpens perception and builds resilience. Every step into what feels unsafe strengthens your mind and body to operate beyond ordinary limits. You discover skills, courage, and insight that remain hidden within the cocoon of comfort. Avoidance creates stagnation, while conscious engagement with unease transforms you, preparing you to face larger challenges with composure and clarity. Habit is the silent prison of the mind. Every repeated action, every predictable thought builds invisible walls around your awareness and narrows your vision of life. You move through your days on autopilot, believing that repetition is safety, when in truth it is limitation. The moment you begin to notice your routines, the grip of habit starts to loosen and the possibility of something greater becomes visible. Routines create a false sense of control. You tell yourself that following the same path is efficient, comfortable, and wise, but in reality it keeps you trapped in patterns that no longer serve you. Life is dynamic, always changing, and clinging to fixed ways of thinking or behaving isolates you from opportunity. Breaking habitual thinking is not rebellion, it is alignment with the flow of existence. Disruption is necessary to awaken the mind. When you intentionally shift your perspective, alter your schedule or challenge your assumptions, you shake the walls that habit has built. Each small change forces awareness, when awareness is the doorway to freedom. When your mind experiences novelty, it expands, and what once seemed impossible begins to feel achievable. Every moment you question the familiar is a step toward growth. The mind resists change, creating excuses and rationalizations to maintain comfort. But persistence weakens these barriers. By observing your thoughts without automatic acceptance and by choosing action over inertia, you transform routine into conscious living. Each deviation from habit strengthens clarity, courage, and presence. Habit is the silent prison of the mind. Every repeated action, every predictable thought builds invisible walls around your awareness and narrows your vision of life. You move through your days on autopilot, believing that repetition is safety, when in truth it is limitation. The moment you begin to notice your routines, the grip of habit starts to loosen and the possibility of something greater becomes visible. Routines create a false sense of control. You tell yourself that following the same path is efficient, comfortable, and wise, but in reality it keeps you trapped in patterns that no longer serve you. Life is dynamic, always changing, and clinging to fixed ways of thinking or behaving isolates you from opportunity. Breaking habitual thinking is not rebellion, it is alignment with the flow of existence. Disruption is necessary to awaken the mind. When you intentionally shift your perspective, alter your schedule or challenge your assumptions, you shake the walls that habit has built. Each small change forces awareness, and awareness is the doorway to freedom. When your mind experiences novelty, it expands, and what once seemed impossible begins to feel achievable. Every small risk you take is a step toward breaking the invisible chains of comfort that bind you. The mind wants certainty and security, so it resists every move that feels uncertain. Even the smallest action outside the familiar feels like danger, and yet it carries the power to expand your capacity. These tiny steps, repeated consistently, chip away at fear and open doors that once seemed locked. Small risks teach you more than safety ever could. A conversation you hesitate to start, a new idea you dare to express, or a minor challenge you accept pushes your boundaries slightly, yet meaningfully. Each act, though seemingly insignificant, trains your mind to move despite discomfort, to see opportunity where hesitation once lived, and to gain confidence in the face of the unknown. Consistency is what multiplies the effect of small risks. One isolated act may feel trivial, but repeated over time, it rewires your mind. The brain begins to recognize that uncertainty is not threat but a path to growth. As you accumulate small victories, your courage compounds, making larger risks feel possible and your life progressively richer and more dynamic. Life is inherently unpredictable, and trying to control every outcome only creates tension and limitation. The more you cling to what is known, the smaller your world becomes. Certainty is an illusion that the mind clings to for comfort, but true freedom lies in recognizing that the future cannot be fully predicted and the present cannot be fully controlled. Accepting this opens the possibility to act with clarity rather than fear. Uncertainty is not a threat but a space of immense opportunity. When you stop resisting the unknown, you allow yourself to explore, experiment, and grow. Every unpredictable moment holds lessons that safety and routine cannot provide. The mind learns to adapt, to respond creatively, and to navigate challenges that would otherwise feel paralyzing. Clinging to certainty limits perception and narrows choices. When you insist on fixed outcomes, you block the flow of life and resist its natural rhythm. The moment you embrace uncertainty, you begin to see possibilities that were invisible before. You develop the courage to make decisions without needing guarantees, and your actions become more powerful because they are rooted in awareness rather than attachment. Failure is not a mark of weakness, but a guide pointing the way to growth. Every time you step beyond your comfort, you risk falling, but each fall carries lessons that success can never teach. The mind wants to avoid failure, convincing you that staying safe is wise. But avoiding mistakes only keeps potential locked away. Understanding failure as a teacher transforms every setback into a step forward. Each failure exposes hidden limitations and weaknesses, bringing them into the light where they can be examined and corrected. It forces awareness of where skill, effort, or understanding falls short and challenges you to improve. When you accept failure as part of the learning process, you stop being afraid of mistakes and start using them as tools to expand your ability. Failure develops resilience and strength. Every time you rise after a fall, your capacity to endure, adapt, and respond to adversity grows. The mind and body become tougher not through comfort, but through the repeated experience of overcoming challenges. Each encounter with failure builds courage, shaping a person who is unshakable in the face of difficulty. Wisdom emerges from reflecting on failure. It teaches patience, humility, and insight that cannot be gained through easy victories. You begin to understand cause and effect, your own patterns of behavior and the strategies that work versus those that do not. Each failure becomes a roadmap, a set of instructions showing how to move closer to mastery and excellence. Every limit you perceive is often a boundary created by habit, fear, or self-doubt. The mind convinces you that these edges are fixed, that stepping beyond them is dangerous or impossible, but this is an illusion. Awareness of your limits is the first step toward breaking them. Once you see where your comfort ends, you gain the power to move beyond it intentionally and with purpose. Conscious expansion requires observation and honesty. You must watch your thoughts, feelings, and reactions closely to understand where you are holding back. Every hesitation, every excuse, every moment of discomfort reveals the edges of your current reality. By acknowledging these boundaries rather than ignoring them, you prepare yourself to challenge them with clarity instead of recklessness. Pushing beyond your boundaries does not mean giant leaps all at once. Small, Deliberate steps outside your familiar patterns create lasting change. Each action that stretches your ability, patience, or courage weakens the hold of self-imposed limits. Over time, these consistent efforts transform your perception of what is possible and expand the range of your experience. The process of expanding boundaries sharpens awareness and strengthens resilience. You encounter discomfort, uncertainty and fear, but facing them teaches adaptability and perseverance. Each moment spent beyond the familiar rewires your mind to handle challenges more effectively, to respond creatively rather than react impulsively, and to approach life with greater confidence and flexibility. A life confined to comfort and predictability is a life that never fully awakens. The mind convinces you that staying safe is wise, that avoiding risk is prudent, and that security is the ultimate goal. But this is an illusion. Safety may protect the body, but it shrinks the spirit and narrows the mind. Every choice made out of fear of discomfort limits the richness of experience and keeps potential unrealized. Courage is the engine that drives life beyond mere survival. Each act of bravery, no matter how small, stretches the boundaries of what is possible. Speaking your truth, pursuing a challenging goal, or stepping into the unknown teaches resilience and self-trust. Without courage, life becomes a series of routines and repetitions, a muted existence where opportunities pass unnoticed and growth remains stunted. Curiosity is the spark that ignites exploration. When you ask questions, seek new experiences, and challenge assumptions, you break free from the monotony of comfort. Curiosity pushes you into unfamiliar territory, forcing your mind to adapt, expand, and create. A life lived with curiosity is rich with discovery, insight, and connection, while a life without it remains shallow and predictable. The walls of comfort are not meant to protect you, they are meant to keep you small. Every moment you choose the familiar over the unknown, you dim your own light. Step beyond these walls. Feel the rawness of life, the intensity of growth, and the joy of true freedom. Life begins when you stop being a prisoner of comfort zones.